Hi there. My name is Christian, and do you guys know what I love? I love camping. Should we find out what happens when Topsy and Tim go camping? Come on, let's read. Topsy and Tim were going camping with Mommy and Dad. They were taking 2 tents, a big one for Mommy and Dad and a small one for Topsy and Tim. It was a long drive, but at last they arrived at the campsite. It was in a field beside a little wood. Topsy and Tim helped to unload the car. Putting the tents up was a puzzle at first, but Topsy and Tim soon remembered how to do it. "I like our tent best," said Topsy. Tim went to fetch water. He was surprised to find a tap in the field. It was a very splashy tap. There was hot soup for supper and sandwiches and big red apples. After supper, Topsy and Tim went with Mommy and Dad to explore the wood. "Somebody's been painting arrows on the trees," said Tim. "Look." "Yes," said Mommy. "If we follow those arrows, they will take us for a good walk and bring us back to camp." When they got back to their camp, they saw that another family had arrived in the field. 2 big boys and their mom and dad. They were unloading their car and putting up their tent. The big boys were very noisy. "Let's go and play inside our tent," said Topsy to Tim. "It's time you two got into your sleeping bags," said Mommy. Topsy and Tim were almost asleep in their cozy sleeping bags when something hit their tent with a wallop. It gave them a fright. The naughty boys had kicked a football hard at Topsy and Tim's tent. "Sorry," called the boys. Next morning, Topsy and Tim were up bright and early, and so were the big boys. "We're going to play in the wood," said the big boys. "We'll come too," said Topsy and Tim. They had a wonderful time in the wood. They swung from trees like monkeys. "I'm the king of the jungle," shouted Tim. They chased after rabbits, trying to catch them, but the rabbits ran faster. "I nearly caught one," puffed Topsy, "but it ran down a rabbit hole." At last they began to feel hungry. None of them had had breakfast. They wanted to go back to the camp, but they did not know which way to go. "We're lost," said one of the big boys. "No, we're not," said Topsy. "The arrows in the trees will lead us back to camp. Mommy said so." Mommy and Dad were glad to see them. "I was just coming to find you," said Dad. "What have you been up to?" "We've had adventures," said Tim. Topsy and Tim were ready for breakfast, but Mommy could not get the camp stove to work. "We'll have to make do with a cold breakfast," she said. The big boy's dad came to see what was wrong. "Come and join us," he said. "There's plenty of room on the barbecue." Yes, love barbecue. Soon there was the lovely smell of sausages and bacon cooking on the big boy's barbecue, and there was plenty for everyone. "I love camping," said Tim. "I wish we could stay here forever," said Topsy. What great adventures Topsy and Tim have together. I can almost smell their food cooking on their barbecue. Bacon. It's made me really hungry. So I'm off to make a BLT. That's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.
If you loved Topsy and Tim Go Camping, why not subscribe to the Toddler Fun Learning and Ladybird channels for lots more amazing videos?